Hi. So towards the end of Java 1, we learned how to write classes. And so in this chapter, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of add more concepts to how to write better classes. So we're going to learn about how to write extra methods. We're going to learn about some static, the static keyword more. And so what I want to do is I want to start by reviewing with you how to write a class. So for example, let's say I want to create a class called bank account. So what we learned is that we create a project and we give it the name of our class, so bank account. And now I have a public class bank account, and at the beginning, at the top, we write the instance field. So we ask ourselves, what information do I want to store in a bank account object? What is the purpose of this object? So maybe the bank account is supposed to store someone's name, and maybe it's supposed to store, you know, the amount, okay, amount they have in the account. Now we learned that these variables that we're putting up here, they should be private because we don't want anyone from outside accessing them and changing them without our permission. And then we learned to write methods. Learn to write accessor methods so that code outside can access them. And the accessor methods were public. They did not have the word static, and they return whatever the data is. So if I want to access the name, I would return a string. So I would say get name, and all it does is return the name variable. If I want to access amount, well, amount is float, so I would say get float. I would make it return a float, and then I'll say get amount, return amount. So these were called accessor methods. They return the information. And then I might have also mutator methods or the setter methods. The accessor methods are also called the getter methods because you're getting the data, you're accessing the data, you're getting it. The mutator methods are supposed to change the data. So again, they're public because we want code to be able to access them and call them. They were usually void methods. They started with set, like set name. If I want to change the user's name on the account, I have to give it a new name. So new name, for example, and I would say the name that is stored is going to be equal to the new name that is passed in. So I'm changing the data that is stored. So if you click on the name here, you'll see that you're changing the name that is being stored. And maybe I'll have also set amount. Amount is a float, so I'll just use A. And so I'll say amount equal to A. Okay, so we talked about those setter methods and getter methods. We also talked about constructors in Java 1. Constructors are used to construct this object. So the constructors are always public. They don't have a return type. They have the same method name as the class. They might take arguments or they might not take arguments. So here I have a constructor that really doesn't do anything. Maybe it's going to set the name equal to undefined and amount is 0. And anyways, I really don't have to put this amount equals 0 because when you create a class, if you don't specify the instance fields, objects automatically get the word null put in them, and numbers automatically get 0, and booleans automatically get false. But this was an empty constructor. We could also write a constructor that might only take the name of the person. So their name is N and the amount is just 0. They don't have anything in their account. And I might write a constructor that takes so the name and the amount, and I'm going to store all of them. So name equal to N and amount equal to A. Okay. These were the constructors that we learned to write before.